In the blistering heat of the Iraqi desert, Corporal James Turner could feel the weight of his helmet pressing into his scalp. The sun had no mercy here, nor did the war. Dust rose with every step his unit took, and the silence between gunfire was often more terrifying than the chaos itself. James was a 26-year-old soldier from rural Kentucky, where he'd left behind green fields, a red pickup truck, and a mother who still left the porch light on every night. She believed it guided his spirit home, no matter how far away he was. But Iraq was a different world. He wasn't the same man who left for boot camp 2 years ago. The war had carved lines into his soul deeper than any wound ever could. His unit had been assigned to patrol a small village near Fallujah, a place once filled with families, now a shattered remnant of war. Intelligence suggested insurgents were using abandoned homes to stockpile weapons. The mission was simple, sweep and clear. But in war, nothing is ever simple. As James and his fellow Marines approached the village, they passed a boy no older than 10, sitting on a cracked doorstep with a wooden toy tank in his hand. His eyes were hollow. He didn't wave. He didn't run. He just stared as if he'd already seen 100 soldiers before them, and knew what would come next. Sergeant Martinez, the squad leader, gave the signal to move in. They entered the house carefully, weapons raised. The stench of gunpowder and stale blood hung in the air. James kicked open a door and shouted, "Clear!" only to find a shattered mirror reflecting his own exhausted face. Then they heard it, a soft sound like a sob from beneath the floorboards. James' heart stopped. He motioned to Martinez, who signaled to open the panel. As James pried it open, his breath caught. A woman and 2 children crouched below, trembling, their hands over their mouths. "Civilians," he whispered, lowering his weapon. The woman spoke Arabic, tears falling down her face. James didn't understand the words, but he understood the fear. It mirrored his own. Martinez radioed command. "Got civvies. Need medics." The response was static and then a cold voice. "Copy. Secure the area." That night, James sat outside the home, staring at the desert. The war didn't just destroy buildings. It destroyed innocence, trust, humanity. He remembered the boy with the toy tank and wondered if he would grow up hating Americans, or if he would even grow up at all. 2 days later, tragedy struck. A roadside eye tore through their Humvee during a routine return patrol. Martinez died instantly. James was thrown 15 feet, shrapnel cutting into his side. He woke up in a military hospital in Baghdad, bandaged and broken. But it wasn't just his body that was damaged. It was his mind. Back in the U.S., James was honorably discharged and returned to Kentucky. The town greeted him with parades, flags, and "Thank you for your service" banners. But no one knew how to talk about the nightmares. No one asked what it felt like to watch a friend die or hear a child cry beneath a war-torn house. He tried to go back to normal, working at his father's hardware store, fixing fences, mowing lawns. But the war clung to him like desert dust in his lungs. One day, while at the store, a Middle Eastern man walked in with his young son. James stiffened. His hand twitched. But then the boy smiled, a wide, open smile, and showed James a drawing he had made in school. It was a picture of a flag, half American, half Iraqi, with the word "peace" written above it. James swallowed hard. That night, he pulled out an old box from under his bed. Inside were letters he'd never opened, sent from the children they had rescued that day in Fallujah. With trembling fingers, he read them. "Thank you," one said in broken English. "You saved my mother. You saved me." Tears fell. In that moment, James realized something he hadn't before. Yes, the war was ugly. It stole lives, scarred hearts, and left wounds that never healed. But in the cracks of all that pain, there were moments of humanity. Moments where saving one life made the entire war worth enduring. James began speaking at local schools and veteran groups. He told the truth, not just about the war's horror, but about its complicated humanity. He helped other veterans find their voices, and even started a small organization to support war-affected children overseas. Years passed. The nightmares didn't stop, but they became quieter. The porch light still burned every night, not to guide a lost soul home, but as a symbol that even in the darkest places there could be light. And sometimes, peace was found not on the battlefield, but in the quiet understanding between strangers who had both survived the storm.